every participant in a market has a unique advantage, and you should lead into that and never think that you're not good enough to replace the big ones. I 100% believe that you, Nikki, can be 10 times bigger than Natalie Brunell right now is. Like that's like 100% possible. The only question is, are you willing to sacrifice all the things along the way to get there? Because Natalie worked her ass off to get where she is right now, and she's really good in it. And she's an extremely good operator, journalist, and a media personality. But everyone can do that. It's just like, are you willing to sacrifice family time? Are you willing to sacrifice your sleep to a certain degree? All of those things to actually get there? Or are you comfortable just like, as long as I make a living, I'm fine. Like I don't need to be elite level. I have a weird thing in my head where I'm like, I want to be like that big and that good, even though I have the very real possibility of just slowing down, doing a few podcasts per week and not doing anything else. I don't have to go to conferences, speaking engagements. I don't have to write my book that I'm currently writing, do the research, do all this work to microseed, for example. Like I do a lot of things outside of my podcast to gain momentum and gain that higher level for the future. But honestly, I could just relax.
Yeah.
Just have like a 10, 15 hour job with my podcast and still make a comfortable living and just relax. But I'm not that person. And if you're also not that person, I think you have a good chance of getting up there and being a bigger personality than the ones that you are now looking up to.
Yeah, I do think at the end of the day, it really does come back down to how badly you want it. But I'm really curious on trying to connect the dots here, because you did say you weren't really looking for something to differentiate yourself from all the other podcasts because you didn't see them as competition. But I would also argue that you choosing to go down the route of having like plebs and experts on your podcast and then publishing those daily episodes, which for a while you did brand your podcast on, is that not differentiation?
Oh yeah, like absolutely. So like, that's a very good question actually, because you can be in a red sea where everyone is doing a podcast, but still having like a unique selling point of like why your podcast is special. Like it's because like Natalie Brunell's podcast is very different to mine or to Peter McCormick's or to What is Money or like to the Bitcoin Millennial show, like or to your show. They're all different. But if we are honest, we're doing the same thing.
Yeah.
So we are special and we are different, but we're kind of doing the same thing. So like the red and blue ocean thing is where you actually go in a whole different market, a whole different universe. So like the different thing would be I think you actually do that if you do not a 1 hour sit down podcast, but you do like a 30-second street interview with people. I think that would be something completely else. I mean, there's also a lot of people there that do that. So that's another red sea. But if let's just say nobody would do that, that would be a blue ocean, a blue sea. And so then you could go in there, but we are we're swimming in the same lake, but we're trying to decorate our boat a little bit different so people actually come to our boat and not swim to the different boat, if that makes sense. So trying to be different and have something unique is very important, but not being afraid of doing a similar thing. That's kind of like what I wanted to say with that. But yeah, like being unique. And I mean, podcasting is a fun one because we actually lift our boats together. I was actually checking with Pram Kanstein, our analytics, and I do that with Rashad Soni also. I do that with many other people. And what I've noticed is we swing together. So when we had our best months, we had the best months roughly at the same time. And we had the worst months roughly at the same time. And so it's because we are Bitcoiners, we are in Bitcoin media, our analytics actually look a little bit like the same wave. Now, some waves are a little bit higher, some waves are a little bit lower, and some people are getting to grow even in a down market because they're doubling down on things. But honestly, like we're doing something very similar. So if Rashad figures out how to get more people in the Bitcoin ecosystem and Pram figures out how to get more people in the Bitcoin ecosystem, they will also watch my podcast more and your podcast more and Natalie's podcast more. So podcasting is this weird thing where even though we are competitors, we actually lift each other up by getting more people into the ecosystem, by educating more people. And so it's if you, for example, if Microseed is like different, for example, with Microseed, there are competitors to Microseed. If they have a competitor, they don't need me. They don't need this device. And so with podcast, some people might watch you, they watch Natalie, they watch this and that. Like I probably watched in my life like 50 different podcast hosts, like when I count them all together, probably more, probably like 100. There's more color to that. There's also, for example, I have sometimes a phase that I watch this one influencer for like 2 months and then I switch to another one and I watch him all the time because like I change what I like. And so we don't really have competition. It's just that, I mean, technically it's competition. Like I want to be clear, like technically that's competition, but we are lifting our boats together and we're actually benefiting from having more people in the space and from having more people doing what we are doing. I think our real competition are all the ETF influencers, the crypto influencers, the real estate influencers, all the shitcoin influencers. Like we are such a small part. We are in one Bitcoin marketing team and we are in like that huge ocean of financial content creators that all tell bullshit. And so I think we have to do a better job in getting out there. So my thinking is not like, oh, how can I get viewers from Natalie Brunell's show? How can I be like a competitor there? I'm thinking, how can I be a competitor to, I don't know, like Graham Stephan or like to people that like do like a really good job in the general financial industry that don't like Bitcoin that much. So that's how I view competition in like actually.
Yeah. Yeah, I think when you are in a space like Bitcoin, which is so community oriented, you do find that one person's success inevitably means everyone in the community's success. So I think the framing for trying to take viewers away from people who are not pushing the ethos that we are pushing, instead of trying to take like viewers away from each other, might be a really good way to put things. You mentioned a little bit earlier just about how all of the outputs will be a reflection of how much effort you put in and how, you have to keep being resilient and keep going, especially in something like podcasting, which can get so, I guess, it can put you down a lot when you're not seeing the results that you want. So, I mean, starting out, you had a direction, you had your thesis, you kept putting out your episode, but was there a phase where you saw, the numbers weren't really moving and you weren't getting as much attention as you wanted to? And in that phase, what kept you going? Like, why did you keep publishing?
That's a hard question. And I have those moments probably like, I don't know, like every second month because you, as a content creator, you get real-time market feedback every minute of the day. You can look at videos. I can look up on my YouTube studio, how many views did I get in the last 60 minutes? Where did the views came from? How many views did I get in the last 48 hours? How much click through each video? Like there's so many analytics that you can get that are overwhelming, and you can get in this like rabbit hole of just checking them constantly, which is probably actually a good thing because you learn what a good video is and what a bad video is. And it's a little bit like checking the Bitcoin price. What do you really gain from it? YouTube, you actually gain that you see what is a good video and what is a bad video, but you can also like overdo that. And so you can get into this trot of shit, there's like the last 10 videos are not doing that good. And maybe I'm not as good as I thought I am. Maybe people stop liking me. Maybe people stop watching my content. Why would they watch it to begin with? Is not that valuable. Like there's all those voices in your head that say, you're not that good. Try something else. It's okay. Like, just like give up. Like, you don't need to do that. And it's hard to push through that. And so I respect everyone that is doing that for like 5, 10+ years, because you are getting attacked by your own mind. You're getting attacked by the volatility of the market, the volatility of having an early business. You're getting attacked by your own audience. You might actually get attacked by people in your real life saying like, don't you want a real job? Like, don't you want to do something actual, productive in your life, and something with real value and all of those things? And so people that stick with that are very special people, because they can fight their own demons, and they can fight the real demons out there, the bad friends that don't encourage you, the bad family members that don't encourage you, the random strangers on the internet that shit on you. And those things don't get easier. I want to be also very clear. No matter if you have 100 followers, 1,000, 10,000, I'm now at around 20,000 on my two biggest platforms, around like 50 to 100,000, sometimes even like 250,000 viewers per month in a good month. That's a lot of people. They have a lot of opinions, and not all the opinions are good for you, and you still hear them. I check all the comments, I check all the things, and it trains you. It bites on you. And so that's the first thing I want to say. It's hard for everyone, and it's not easy, and it can actually put someone down. And I've seen multiple people already that started after me that stopped before me. And I'm doing it just for like 3 years or so now. So I'm not doing it for like a crazy long time. I mean, if you account for, that's actually a good example. I started in 2020, like over 6 years ago, and I stopped because I didn't see the results. I stopped because I didn't get nice feedback. And I'm so grateful. Like, I have the best family, the best dad, the best mom. They just like support me in every way, shape, or form. But still, like, I didn't see the point of it. And then I stopped doing it, and people actually liked it. Like, my boss said, good, like you focus on like real job. Like a coach that said like, oh, that's great that you're actually doing now something real. And so I stopped social media completely because I thought I'm not good enough and I'm not cut out for that. And I stopped from like, I think like beginning of 2021 till like end of 2022. So like almost 2 years, I stopped completely. And it was not a bad time, but I really like doing content. I really like talking with people and producing content and seeing how it does. And so I got disencouraged, and I have to ask myself, like, how much better would I be right now if I kept going? If I didn't take a 2 years break and started from zero again, like how much more experience did I had? How much more conferences I would have visited? How many more podcasts I would have done? How many more things I would have learned along the way? So the good thing is I'm still very young with 27, but stopping it took away 2 years of my content creation things. And so it's not easy. And I think that's the only thing I can really say, because what keeps me going is the big passion that I have, like a very intrinsic thing that I have in me. And I don't think a lot of people have that. And I think most people will stop when it gets hard, and that's okay. It makes it better for me. Uh, maybe maybe one thing that gets people keeps people going. If you think about how hard it really is, and all the differences in all the bad things that kind of happen to you, in that moment where you feel down and where you feel like there's something pushing against you, if you push through that, you know you are a little bit further ahead of everyone else right now. That you are a little bit further from what other people are doing, because many other people would have stopped at that moment. Many other people would have said, enough is enough. Like, I'm not cut out for that. Like I did in early 2021, I said like, enough is enough. I'm not good enough for that. And if you push through that hard moment, you are doing more. It's kind of your business mode around you. Like you pushed through something hard that other people haven't done. If you think about a very, very long and steep hill to climb out, like I don't know, the Mount Everest, for example. Many people never make it to the top because it's very, very hard to get up there. It also costs apparently a lot of money to get up there and to train and a lot of time. And so every training state that you do, every passage that you like climb higher, you get in a circle that is smaller and smaller and smaller. So for example, with podcasting, if you do start a podcast, you're already in a very small circle. Like 90+% of people never start a podcast. If you get a podcast out with 3 episodes or more, you are already in the top 3% of all podcasters, because most podcasters never make it to episode 3. If you go to episode 20 or beyond that, you are already the top 1%, because even less people make it to episode 20. If you have a podcast that posts every single week, you're in a very small elite group of people, especially if you do it for 1, 2, 3 years. And the real advantage is not like you're a unique personality, or you are the most beautiful one, or you're the smartest one, or all of those things. The most unique thing is you keep going and you put in the work, like for a very long time. I recently saw that weird comment about, I think, Taylor Swift or like some singer, and someone was like, she's just famous because she's hot. I'm like, not really. There's a lot of hot girls out there that are not famous and they are not successful, and they have to work at the supermarket. And like, talent helps you. You being smarter than other people, you having a better voice than other people, you being more attractive than other people, you being having a very good feeling for example, when you play soccer for the ball, and you can do a lot of like things with that. But the talent only gets you so far. The good voice only gets you so far. The attractiveness gets you only so far. At some point, you have to push through, actually put in a lot of work, and get very far ahead. And that's the hard part. That's what nobody sees. And everyone thinks it's easy. Everything congratulates you, like, oh, like it's amazing, your overnight success. Let's take a very specific example. Julian Figueroa, I don't know how to pronounce his last name, the Exit Manual. Do you know him?
Yes.
And he looks like an overnight success for most people. He just started the Exit Manual. He doesn't even have 40 videos, and he has already soon at 50,000 subscribers. He has multiple videos, over 100,000 views. I only have one. And so I can look at his success and say like, oh shit, like why is he so lucky? Like why he's getting all the views and I'm not? But I talked with him and asked him, how long are you doing that? Like, he's doing that for over 10 years. Since over 10 years, he's trying to figure out what format, what things are fitting to him. And now he started a new channel. Now it's blowing up, and he's putting in 8 to 10 hours just for filming, then like probably like 5, 6 hours for scripting. Like one video takes him like 30, 40 hours to produce. I don't know exactly, but around that number, especially with editing, it's very high quality what he produces. And then people are like, oh yeah, overnight success. Like, no, like that's bullshit. The same, I heard that yesterday, and I can't get it out of my head. It's a funny thing. What is this? Like, there's a similarity between pregnancy and success. When you get pregnant and you get the baby, everyone is congratulating you, like amazing, really cool that you have that. The same with success. Like people are like, oh, like it's amazing that you got there. Like it looks like an overnight success, and everyone is on your side. Everyone wants to help you. It's amazing. But nobody has a clue how often you got before. And it might be like a little bit weird of a comparison with pregnancy, obviously. But like also with pregnancy, there's a lot of people that try for a very long time to get that baby. Some are lucky, like with the first try, they just get it. But a lot of people try very long, very hard to actually get pregnant. And then with success, it's the same thing. Like you have a very long time till you actually get to where you want to be. And so for Julian's example, it's like 10 plus years. It's a long time to figure out what's your best format. And he was not unsuccessful before. He had some successes, but people only see the top of the mountain. And so I'm sure if I get to have a big podcast one day, or like I have like some like big milestone that like everyone outside of my family sees also of like, oh, that's success. People will come, it's amazing. Like, wow, did you like right now? Nobody cares. Like, yeah, Bitcoin is a little bit and like here and there in the community, but my family, society in general is like, yeah, he's just like having a small YouTube thing, like, and they don't take it really serious and like all of those things. But then there's like one milestone that you hit, that like one thing that you like get to, and all of a sudden everyone is like, overnight success. He's lucky. Like that's where people are going. So there's no lucky. There's just very hard work with dedication and sleepless nights. And at some point it looks like an overnight success, but it took a very long time to build.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think one thing that you've been pretty public about is that consistency itself becomes essentially differentiation in a space full of people who start and then disappear, right? This is especially evident in podcasting. I mean, if you just look at the Bitcoin content like landscape and all of the shows that have started and died out after like 20 episodes, yours really does stick out. So I do want to kind of get into the mechanics and the rules that you set for yourself behind like making showing up non-negotiable. Kind of, did you have any sort of like guidelines, anything that you had to keep telling yourself to make sure that you kept showing up and kept putting out those episodes?
It's just a non-negotiable. Like there's no way I'm not doing it. It's like
Fair?
I couldn't not do it. And I don't know why. Like I can't get people that set themselves a goal and then don't do it. Or like I'm posting every single day. Like and people, you should set yourself an input goal, not an output goal. Because I can set myself an output goal and say every single episode has to be over 100,000 views. Like that's ridiculous. Like how should like that's an interesting goal to have, but it's not fully in my control. But I can set myself the goal of putting out every single day, 3 times a week, whatever the cadence is, an episode, and it just has to come out. Like that's just a non-negotiable for me. It's like if I set myself the cadence, there's no way I am missing that. And it's hard for me to explain because I was always like that. So I don't get people that say, oh, I want to put out an episode every single week, and then like 2 weeks nothing. like
Mhm.
like you're lying to yourself. Like and it's like you're not taking yourself serious at that point. Like you set yourself the goal and you said like every single day I want to do that, every single week I want to do that, and then you're not doing that, and so then you're lying to yourself, and then you feel bad because you didn't do it, because you betrayed the one person you should never betray in your life, yourself.
What about kind of the mechanics behind your publishing timeline from going to like scheduling, batching your projects, and then just getting the work put together? How did you make sure that that was getting done and ready every single day, every single time that you wanted to upload?
Yeah, you have to make sure that you're not failing. So like I always have a buffer of like 1 week, 2 weeks that I always already recorded and did before I can even before. So like making it very easy for me not to fail. So if you have every single day a podcast, you'd have always like 7 podcast episodes already recorded and ready to go and schedule out. So even if you're sick for like 3 days, you can still deliver on your promise. And so I don't allow myself the room for excuses. They're like, I was sick. Yeah, but you should be calculating that you might get sick. And so you should have, before you got sick, already prepared for that. I mean, I don't know if you are so sick that you fall out for like 2 months and like you have a rare disease and like you get cancer or something. Like there are rare edge cases, obviously. Then like maybe it's time to do something, something else. But outside of that rare, I just got cancer edge case, you should have calculated for that. We all can get sick for like a few days and cannot be ready for recording. but we all can prepare for that, and it makes life easier to prepare for that. And so having pre-recorded episodes, or for example, saying my guest canceled on me, so I can't publish now. Why? Like, didn't you invite enough guests so you have a buffer? And even if you couldn't get a guest, like, why don't you do a solo episode? Why don't you put something else out? So I don't allow myself room for any excuses, because then I would betray myself, and I don't want to do that. I want to stick to the word I'm saying. So yeah, that's kind of, I think that's the main one. But it's hard for me to explain, because I never got people that said like, I'm going to do that, and then like they never did it. So I'm like, why are you lying? Like, you can lie to me, I don't care, but like, why are you lying to yourself? Thank you for watching this video. This was only a snippet of the podcast. And if you want to watch the full episode and get all of the context of this episode, you can click right here or here. Oh, maybe also here.